Hello, hello. I thought I'd chill and play some Prison Architect today because I haven't played it in a long time. So I thought I'll start a new game and see what's what. So just get cracking here. Let's look, see. Staff and adults are able to push past their limits and prisons are molded into model inmates. Requires 10% more. Who do I usually use? Where is she? Hi Steve, you okay? I think I'll go with her and all of the dogs because we love the dogs. Decent sized, world size, and we're gonna do unlimited funds anyway. I'm all good, Steve, all good. It's been a long week and I fancied a nice chill Prison Architect sesh for today. Don't do gangs because they wind me up. Dynamic reputations. I do low for that. I'm just... No, we're not doing that. Hi, Angel. I hope you're doing well. Are you happy being called Angel, or do you prefer to be called Chaos Gremlin? Because I have no issues referring to a person as Chaos Gremlin. That sounds amazing. Let me know. Right, I'm trying to remember what settings I normally go for. I don't think I go for anything in here. No worries. Oh, I want to be able to pause the game. I might go for slow deliveries. I quite enjoy that. That creates a little bit of a management calamity, if I'm honest. Days to be longer. We'll go with that. That works for me. Yeah, that works for me. Okie dokie, let's get cracking. Let's see what we've got. I don't know if anyone here has played Prison Architect before. If I need to explain anything, just let me know. I start and stop and start and stop and start and stop this game probably more times than is healthy, so let me know. So that's 9 across. So if we did 9 by 9 there, and I'm going to double 9 by 9 there, and then just have garbage there. Okie dokie. So I have not got OCD, but I do like things the way I have a system. I like, you know, order and chaos. So I do have a particular way I do things, and I'm not very good at deviating from that particular way of doing things, so it does make starting up the game pretty damn quick. I don't imagine doing frequent streams of different prisons would be particularly interesting because I do them the same way every time, but hey ho. So all I'm doing at the minute is I'm just going to map out some of the basic stuff. So obviously you want your deliveries, your garbage. I want that to be exports, not garbage though. And I will just stick the garbage over here for now, because that's what we're doing. I don't need those boxes. And I like paths to be 2 by 2, like 2 wide, just because it looks tidy, I feel. And I tend to do external doors with a little wall because it just looks a little bit nicer. So this will be the reception area. I really wanted to do something that looked vaguely like a real waiting area in a prison, you know, like you see in movies where you walk in and you check in and you've got people sat there waiting to go visit their family members and whatnot. But if I do it properly like that, it doesn't count as a room and it gets a bit spicy, so I don't do that. And this is a bit narrow, to be fair, for something like that, so I'm not going to do that. I normally, just to make things a bit easier for myself, try not to make like direct straight lines to the exit, because it just creates an extra bit of running that my prisoners have to do before they're able to, oh, that's not the button I wanted, before they escape. I'm not saying that that's actually, it actually works, but it makes me feel better, so we're rolling with it. So I normally keep my office areas as a sort of separate compound to the prison. I might try to integrate it here and see what happens. So if I do another 9x9 building there and another 9x9 building there. I am a real fan of symmetry. I've got real issues, I'm realising that now. But if we have the staff wing this way and then we can have something else this way. I'm trying to make like a security building here, so if I just lay this out. Oh, I need a chief first. Okay, so I'm going to need to build some offices before it's going to let me do shit. That's fine. So an office needs to be what, 5x5, so office, where are you? There you are. Yeah, 4x4, so yeah, 5x5 works, but that's fine. I try to create some sort of there we go. You know, like dynamic whatever, so that it looks interesting. And then what I normally do is balls it up. So office, 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 and I'll do 2 more, and then a canteen for my staff. Okay, 8 up. That seems like a decent size. And then this is going to be super slow. This is going to be fun. This is going to be really interesting. I will need probably, where should we put the can't remember a utility room, so that's that big. I'm going fully green though, because I found that farming and green energy are really great ways to make money. They're actually probably more beneficial money making wise than prisoners, which is stupid. But yeah, it really helps keep your cash flow in check. So what I want is a transformer. And I probably want it to go that way. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. And then the water pump can go in the corner there. Bob's your uncle. So, foundations wise, we want brick foundations for the nice buildings, and then concrete for the prisoners because it's harder to dig through. And what I do is, obviously you get a lot of dead space like here. I might move the delivery zone over there because this is going to curl around and that'll look really nice. But yeah, you get a lot of dead space. I fill that up with like your windmills and whatnot. It makes a better use of the space. I don't want auto lights to stop that because they put them in weird places. You watch now, I'll forget to do all the lights and then I'll wonder why everything's dark. So yeah, so we'll have a security office here. So if I just continue this, I don't know why I didn't just build it. We'll have a security office there. This will be a holding cell. And then what I want to do in a strange sort of way is match this. So that's 16 by 14. That's 14, 16 by 14. There. I have a feeling, I know what I want to do with it, but I have a feeling it's not going to work, so bear with me. Let's take a look, see. Steve, how's your Lorcana collection coming along? Are we still ruining your life, or what? Do let me know. I still haven't got an enchanted card, and I'm most of the way through my booster box now, so I'm getting a little bit upset. Excellent, it's good to hear. I'm almost sorry we brought you into this, but at the same time I'm kind of not. I hope you understand. I went to... Yeah, the new set's coming out very soon, isn't it? It's a couple of days. The pre-orders are open. They've had their pre-sale on the 29th of August. It's all quite exciting. I'm not too interested in the new stuff, I'll be honest. From a game point of view, yeah. From a collecting point of view, less so. In my opinion, it just stresses me out. So now, what I want to do with these little rooms here, I think they've got to be 5 by 5, not 4 by 4. So, lol. Okay, so 7 by 7, which creates a 5 by 5 space. Beautiful. So I've just got to create a slightly uglier. So we've got 4 parole rooms there now. And I'm going to make this into visitation. I think I'm very happy with the layout of that. What I could do, cap it off there, keep that there. No, that's, yeah, that's perfectly done that way, so that's fine. So I'll have a door there, and a door there, and I can have a bench, so people can, like, do whatever it is people do in their free time, I don't know. Yeah, Friday's going to be a good day, Steve. Very excited about well, just to, because they've changed a lot of the rarities. Hello, welcome to the my ramble. We're just talking about Lorcana at the moment, which has nothing to do with Prison Architect, so I do apologise. But we do love a bit of Lorcana. I went to the Meet Up Steve at local hobby shop, the Lorcana one, and played with some actual real people. I spoke to strangers on purpose. It was a really good time. Everyone was lovely. It was absolutely cracking. Lorcana is it's a Disney card game. Think Magic the Gathering if it was Disney. Is probably the best way I can describe it. It's a lot more simplified and a lot more, you know, Disney, but it's the best way I can describe it for people who don't know what it is. They've got a new set of cards coming out on Friday, so we were just discussing that. They've retconned the first 4 seasons of cards basically, and this new set is gonna bring some of those back into play, and some will die forever. So super emotional. I'm real sad. It's annoying actually, because for me, I can't play competitive. Most of the cards that I have and most of the cards I play with are from the first 4 seasons, and a good chunk of them aren't coming back. So it sucks to be me, but I was never interested in playing competitive anyway, so it's fine. I'm not salty about it. It's fine. So yeah, I think that's a very wide building that I've created. That's nice. That's good. What I normally do is end up creating like a U-shaped compound at the front so that I can have all of my public facing stuff like right at the beginning of the, I was going to say zoo then, that's not right. Right at the beginning of the prison, where the general public are, so they don't have to traipse all the way through the prison and get themselves, you know, stabbed, trying to get their baked goods. So what I'll probably do is, I'm pointing at my computer screen, if I wave the mouse about, once I've purchased this plot of land here, I will probably use that as like a bit more of a public area rather than doing it at the front. I'm trying to shake it up a little bit because I know I'm stuck in my ways. So just to update you, I don't know how to pronounce your username, Beerbra. I've using one mutator, which is just that all the deliveries are super duper slow. Everything's got to be delivered, nothing magically appears, so it will slow everything right down. So this isn't going to be like you're not going to see a finished present by the end of this stream, put it that way. I'm just trying to sort of take my time with it, really enjoy it, and maybe, who knows, I might get some advice off you guys and improve. Yes, so you can do mutators in the settings when you set up your prison right at the beginning. You can't change them once you've started, I don't think. Extras, options, back. Yeah, mutators, there you go. Or maybe you can change them. So yeah, so you've got these mutators which just modify how the game works, so they can make the game a lot easier or a hell of a lot harder. Yeah, so stuff gets delivered anyway, but you can set up for slow deliveries, so everything gets, so you see, every single thing you buy needs to arrive on a truck, and it arrives super duper slowly. Hi Jodie! And that just, basically, it requires a little bit more strategy when you're building stuff, because stuff's not going to happen quickly. It adds a little bit of, I wouldn't say realism, but a little bit more challenge. I'm all good, Jodie, how are you? We were just discussing Lorcana, and yeah, yeah, the mutators tab is really cool. It makes the game a little bit more interesting, and you can create some really goofy stuff. Yeah, well worth giving a go. If you're looking for a challenge as well, it's great for that. If you're looking for something easier, it's great for that too. I have pressed the spacebar at some point because that vehicle is moving. So back to planning. I'm gonna close my zoo. No, it's not a zoo. I need to stop saying that. That's bad, isn't it? These are real people. Well, these aren't real people, but prisons exist. Okay, so I've got the basic amenities down. So I've got visitation. I've got 4 parole rooms. I've got my holding cell, my reception, what will be a security building. I've got some offices, I've got a staff room, and I've got a power station. So in theory, I could start now. Start getting some stuff built. So I might do that. Because we've got it on slow deliveries anyway. I don't know how long that's going to take. And I have... How many workmen do I have? Like 8 they give you. I'm going to get another 2. Because 10 people is better than none. Bear with me as well. My chat is like a wee bit glitchy, so it's just bouncing around. So I keep thinking I've got like a new comment, and it's actually like one that was said like 5 minutes ago. It's having a funny 5 because technology is fantastic and we can rely on it implicitly. So what I normally do then is I have a little bit of a break area, and I normally make this the yard, which sounds absurd because it's so close to the front now that I'm looking at it. But I really struggle. So like I was saying, I normally make like a U-shaped compound at the beginning, and I really struggle with how to integrate that with the rest of the prison. So I normally have like a yard or an open area to try and like break it up a little bit, and it makes it a little bit easier for me to plan my next move, because I like to leave as many rooms with access to the outside world as possible, because generally speaking it improves the room score and makes people a lot happier, whilst also not making it look ridiculous. So it is a struggle. Yeah, look at this. So normally I think when you have deliveries, you'll just have a truck with like some brick sprites on it, and that'll be all the bricks you need. In this, I think every sprite is representative of exactly a certain number of bricks, and it will deliver exactly that number of bricks to you. So rather than representing, you know, a pile of bricks, it will represent a specific amount. So you end up with a lot more deliveries. Your delivery areas will get quite overburdened quite quickly. So that slows the delivery process down as well. So you kind of have to pace yourself with how you're building, because you don't want to build everything all at once. So I did that with one of my prisons, and I just did everything all in one go, and it took so long because all of the deliveries got backed up, because my delivery area wasn't large enough, and it was preventing, you know, them completing certain elements because they were waiting for like one pile of bricks that was on like truck number 14, and it got a little bit silly, I will be honest. So yeah, if I create, this is massive, the fenced area here, how big's that? 19. If we go 20, because I like even numbers, and we'll just cut it off there, and we'll call that the yard. I am a big fan of perimeter fences as well. That's why I play with unlimited funds, because I can't be doing with unfinished stuff. I'm more of a I like to build stuff exactly how I would want it, rather than building up slowly and then remodeling everything when I'm done. I haven't got the problem I've got with that is I never get finished because I always start a new project. So remodeling everything after I'm done is kind of like a pipe dream. You've never seen Prison Architect, Jodie, you're missing out. It's cracking. If you like city management strategy games, it's a cracking little game. It's just you build a prison. It's based in the United States of America, so it is kind of dystopian because every person is worth some money. It's kind of nuts, and it's up to you whether you build like a nice ethical prison or whether you just, you know, try to get as much cash out of the process as possible. Yeah, I'm gonna put the door there because foundation is an enclosed area. They'll build the external walls automatically, which means that they get blocked in, so they will not continue this build until there is a door for them to install to walk through. Realism equals no ethics. The prisoners do try to escape, yeah, so there's a couple of different ways they do it. So they can just like straight up just leg it off the map, but they'll also get a little bit smarter and they'll start trying to dig tunnels to various places, and there's contraband to manage. It's a cracking little game, and I've turned on another modifier, I think, where they'll dynamically gain reputation. So normally the way that it works is you'll take a prisoner in and they've got a set list of characteristics and they'll stick with those until, you know, for the entire game. But I've set it up so that they can learn new skills. So they might come in with one of the traits is called volatile, which means that they'll just randomly burst out into anger and fury and start breaking things. Now you can have a prisoner that can come in with no traits, and the way that I've set it up is they might meet another volatile prisoner and they will gain that trait. So it makes managing your prisoners a little bit more complicated and it makes it a little bit more interesting. I've put it on low because when the modifier first came out, I ended up with prisoners, if they're there for a long time, they gain all the traits, which makes them completely impossible to manage. So I had this one guy who was behind about 16 sets of doors just for his one prison cell, because he just would go absolutely apeshit constantly, and he was really, really strong as well. Yeah, it was mad. So I've put it on low so that it doesn't get too silly. The reason why they're hovering, I'm not entirely sure. Can you just finish your foundation, do you think? You've got access to the thing. Why don't you just finish it? Just sort it out. They're not waiting for a delivery, surely. It's all one thing. If that's all they needed to complete this, I'm going to be quite cross. It was. Oh my days. Okay. So, I'm going to dismantle that because they don't need that outer door and it's hideous. Yeah, beautiful. Now I must remember to put lights in here. And we'll pause it again for now. So let me designate the rooms so that I can remember what I'm doing, because that's another problem I have, is I'll create a big plan and you can't always designate the rooms because you need certain things first, and then I forget what I was doing because I have the attention span of a goldfish. So these will be offices. So Jodie, just to explain how the game works, it all works on like a schematic style system, which is pretty cool. So at the moment I'm just designating rooms. Every room has a certain set of requirements. If you don't meet those requirements, the room is not usable. So some rooms have to be a certain size, like for the example the staff room needs to be a minimum of 4x4 tiles. It has to be indoors, it has to have certain furniture, and it needs a drinks machine, otherwise they won't be able to use the room. This is going to be like our utility plant room. There isn't a designation for that, so I shall just leave as is. I want a security office, but I need to meet certain requirements first before I can designate a security office, so I won't do that. I will have a... I know, they're all the staff are really demanding. Arguably, they're more annoying than the prisoners, to be fair. The prisoners are just happy to be there. So yeah, we've got our reception here. Everything will have a little red warning triangle on it because nothing is meeting its requirements at the minute because I haven't put any furniture in. And they'll just have to cope. So we've got a holding cell there. Parole. When you first start the game, there is a campaign mode. I'm working my way through that at the minute. This is obviously sandbox. You do get a to-do list. It gives you a vague idea of what you're supposed to be doing. So you've got something to start from. I don't need that, so I'm going to delete it. And then it gives you some goals to aspire to. So you want to take in your first grant, which gets you money, and you want to take in some prisoners, which obviously makes sense. Let's see, so rooms. I'm going to make this the visitation area, because prisoners do get right antsy if they can't see their loved ones. Pathways. So yeah, we'll have a door there. That will look nice, and we'll have a door there. That will look nice. Lovely. So let's do the internal walls. should I do the doors first? Big staff double door there. Big staff double door there, I think. The only issue I have with the offices is I come into a bit of a problem when the time comes for psychologists, because they have a normal office, but the office is supposed to be open to prisoners, and that causes me a real pain. Because I don't want it to be open to prisoners, but it has to be. So you have to kind of create a secure area, you know, within... Yeah, we'll do it that way. Now the parole door can just have normal doors, because I'm going to have guards posted there anyway. And then we'll have a jail door posted there, jail door there, and then a visitor only door. I should do a double door. Would that look nice? Let's do that. That won't look terrible. Pop those in there, and we'll just let them put those doors in, because they're going to take a while to come in, and I'll start doing the walls while I'm waiting, so that can be completely closed off. I'm going to need a door there as well. So there we go, and things are happening quite quickly, which is good. It's nice, and I'll put a set of double doors there as well. Now, before I do anything, I want to get my power station sorted, because there's nothing more annoying than everybody working in the dark. So I'll just let them sort of simmer for a minute, which is fine. I might build like a storage shed here, actually. That's going to be tiny, that size, just because I can. Walls and doors, and I will do a path. That's not correct. There we go. That's also not correct. There we go. Do that. That looks slightly less shit. So I'll designate that a storage room, and then they can start storing random rubbish in here rather than in the delivery zone where it's in the way. Beautiful. So if I designate that a storage room and storage, they've got special storage shelves, so that's better. We'll do it that way, and then they'll be able to store stuff there, so that works. So for utilities, we want a nice green, so we'll put that in the middle. I'll stick that down there, and we want some solar panels. So what I will do, the solar panels bug me because they don't rotate, so they just look really ugly. Sorted. I want to dismantle that because it looks untidy. And then we will have lights. So we'll have one in there just so we can see what's going on. And then we'll know it's working, won't we? So I'm going to need some batteries. For that. So what's quite cool about the objects and stuff is you can type in the name of the room and they've been tagged properly with the correct items for that room. So all of this stuff is stuff relevant to this space, which is very nice. So where do I want it? I think if I go that way, we'll get do that. Gets my seating down. We have to have a drinks machine in here. And as weird as it seems, I am putting a toilet in the middle of the room because they will use it. And staff do need to go to the toilet. And what I tend to have a habit of doing is building my cells with their toilets and then forgetting to build staff only toilets. And they get quite cross because they can't go to the toilet in the prisoner toilets. If it's not designated as like a shared space, they won't use it. But I think that's everything that room needs. And I'll add some windows and people will be happy. Lights. Now let's have a look at some grants, because I can do the green energy thing. So you can only take 2 grants at a time until later on when you can take 3. So I'm just going to do the green energy ones. So one of them is that the prison is completely green energy for 5 days straight, which is easy because we're not going to be using any other power. And then the other one is you just slowly cycle through the different types of energy. We've unlocked wind turbines, which is cool. And now we've got solar wind hybrid, which is what I wanted, because you get the best of both worlds then. As Hannah Montana once said. And I'll tidy this up at a later stage, because I'm not doing it right now. So, utilities. Transformer is fine. What I want is a power export meter, because then I can start selling off my excess power, and that's how you make money. See, there we go. Watch the financial compensation, that's the word I'm looking for. Watch it all go up. Yeah, you can make quite a bit of money that way. Right. Let's get some offices in. So if I just type in office into the objects, it'll give me everything relevant to the office. So we'll have one there. I want a fancy swivel chair because they look cool. And a filing cabinet. Filing cabinet in that one as well. And a fancy swivel chair. And I think that's everything that they need. So I want the warden You only get one warden. You pick the character when you start. And then I want a head of security. Where are you? Chief. And then I can make my security office. So that's that so far. Let's get some lights in all of these rooms. There we go. There we go. So they're not going to have any power because I haven't put any cables down there yet, but let's do that now. Just going to extend that and pop a light in here so it's not quite so dismal. And we're also going to need a water pipe coming down here for the holding cell, because the holding cell will need showers and toilets. The holding cell is necessary, but it's not the way I play it, because I don't like to take in any more prisoners than I already have. Let's do the holding cell next. So when you're playing in like campaign mode, or in like classic mode, where the way the game used to work is you would get a delivery of prisoners every day, and you basically were building to try and accommodate them. The deliveries never stop, and you don't necessarily know how many you're getting every day, but you would get that delivery at like 8 AM every day. No worries, Jodie. That's all good with me. So yeah, you get that was the way that the game used to work. Now you can kind of pick how the deliveries function. I don't take in any prisoners over my capacity in my prison, because I just find it really annoying. I like to sort of build to a vision rather than building to whatever capacity. So that's just how I prefer to play. I'm going to put a little cut through there. Objects, holding cell. So yeah, the holding cell used to be quite necessary is where I was going with that. But less so now. Because you can choose how you want the game to function. So we'll have 3 showers here and 3 toilets there. Bathroom, sink. Let's give them somewhere to wash their hands. You are absolutely correct. This is why I hate the way the system works, because the division of walls shouldn't affect the size of the room, but it does. So I've now got to destroy that. You can put in false walls, I think. But it's an object. Let me have a look. Shower. Yeah, I'll put a shower pillar in there instead to divide it up. I just, they obviously don't have a privacy issue, but I just hate the idea of everyone being able to see them pee-pee. You know? So there we go. Utilities. And then we'll have a pipe going that way. And I think it's a long enough stretch to do that one as well. Why is it still not 5 by 5? What is this? It's 7 by 7. Dude. Is it really not going to let me do it because of the shower pillars? Because that would be very upsetting. I don't think there's a particular reason for doing it. I think it just looks a little bit neater and helps you better keep track. Because obviously, if we were going realistically, and we were building realistically, that's where you would put a lot of your pipes and your wires and stuff would be in the walls and in the floor. So I think that's just why people go for it. In the sequel game, it kind of becomes quite essential because they're doing everything on multiple floors, so the wiring has to kind of follow a wall in order to go up. It can't just go up in the middle of a room. Why have I designated this room wrong? I think that's what I've done. So, holding cell. Yeah, see? Yeah, okay. Just need to redesignate it. So, it should be fine with the shower pillars there. But I'm just going to leave it. Sod it. Caused me enough grief already. But yeah, I think it's just a neatness thing rather than any one reason in particular. Because you can see I've just gone through the floor here. I haven't bothered following the walls. I have with the pipes. For the pipe work, it works slightly differently because the large pipes do have a function. So that's how prisoners dig out. So they'll dig along the large pipes, and it means that they dig quicker if they dig along the large pipes. So you want to kind of be careful about where you give access to the large pipe work, because the prisoners will attempt to use that to escape. So you do have to bear that in mind. Yeah, that's fine. I can sort. Parole room is really easy because it's just the visitation table. I'm gonna have it like that. Yeah, they do dig with the small pipes as well, but I think the dig speed is accelerated with the large pipes. So you want to basically, if I go into the utilities, you want to place the large pipe as far away as possible without affecting the flow from the utilities as you can, I would say. Because, like I said, it does speed up the dig speed. And can create true problems. Objects, visitation. I want to make sure I get these the right way around. Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. How much energy are we making? Not masses. I can actually start properly doing my solar farm now. So if I just dismantle all of this, because none of this needs to be on anyway. We'll get that dismantled, and then I will build the solar wind hybrid. So the reason why the solar wind hybrid is so good is because you don't always have good weather, obviously. So it's quite handy to have, obviously, like different options. The wind will work at night, whereas the solar won't. So it's pretty gosh darn handy. So you can constantly charge your batteries. There we go. We want to make an excess of power. It is hella profitable. So I was just saying, the green energy and the farming mechanic, I found are far more profitable than running the prison. As daft as it is, I do think that's a bit of an exploit. It shouldn't be that way. But I've created prisons with no prisoners, and I've been in a positive cash flow. And in a positive bank balance as well. So we'll stick a swivel chair there, and then we'll have how do I want to plan this? So exactly. It's kind of mad that they never patched that out before they finished. Like before they considered the game finished. It's kind of silly. But they were very dedicated to getting cracking with Prison Architect 2. They were very ready to move on, I think. Which I just realised when I was loading this up, the last update we had on Prison Architect 2 was in February of last year. I mean, yes, as well, because we do live in a capitalist hellhole. That is very true. But yeah, the last update we had on Prison Architect 2 was February last year, which is mad. So that's been delayed for an entire year so far now, and I don't think we've heard anything since. Which is a bit frustrating. I know a lot of people were quite upset when they moved on to Prison Architect 2 because there are still some bugs in the first Prison Architect that they never really patched out. I think I haven't encountered anything particularly, you know, frustrating in that respect, but I know that some people have are stuck with some pretty game-breaking bugs, which is really unfortunate for something that's considered, you know, a finished product. Put those there, and then we're going to have a CCTV monitor. I don't need that actually. I'll have door control system and a phone tap, and I'll have another door control system because I like to have two, and the power's gone out because I'm asking too much, but that's fine because we don't need any power at the minute because it's just the staff and they'll be fine. It's all good. So you have to bear with me with the policies and procedures because I always forget what tab is what, so you'll see me flicking through a lot and sitting here trying to work it out. There is a way to change your percentage of staff that will go for lunch at any one given time, and it takes me far too long every single time I play this to find the right button. It's not in programs, it can't be in reform, that makes no sense. It's not in coverage, that's just an insurance thing. Yeah, so the standard regime is kind of insane. I will fix that when we've got prisoners. I have a preferred way I like to do things. I try to give prisoners as much work and free time as possible because it benefits me as well because I can get them into programs that I'm paying for. Yeah, that is the standard. I haven't touched this yet. It's kind of insane. They just basically spend their time doing absolutely nothing. What's nice is they did change it. So it used to be that they only had like one meal a day. So in the original you'd have some prisoners that were like damn near starving to death by the end of the day. It was really silly, so you'd have to get involved. We have a capacity, like completely. Come on. Sort it out. Or is it the configuration of my utilities? No, we're actually good on that front. Sometimes they get a little bit spicy because they don't like to be touching. But they're alright, so we're just... We're just not working, okay. Great. Ah, it's been cut off. There we go. That makes sense. Use your eyes. No, I did not make that regime. That's insane. But like I said, once I've got prisoners, I'll fix it. because they just would spend all their time in their bedrooms, and they're not teenage boys, they're adults that need to be reformed. So we'll get that sorted, not to worry. I always play with the male prisoners. I don't find the added complication of the female prisoners to be that interesting. I don't know if you feel the same. I just find it sort of, rather than being an interesting challenge, I find it cumbersome more than anything, to be quite honest with you. It's just irritating because it's just another thing I've got to worry about. Oh yeah, that sounds bloody horrific now that I think about it. Oh no. I love how you said you're not typing much because you're doing other stuff, and then that's where you chimed in. Thank you for that. Just to, like, it's like a little mini roast. I love it. Alright, so we'll make him an office, and then I'll be able to do some cleaning and whatnot. I was gonna make a... I think what I'll do is I'll designate one of these as a cleaning cupboard. Which is a massive cleaning cupboard, but it gives my cleaners somewhere to work, and I'll sort that out later. Abby 2025. What? It's honestly, I'm so glad that I don't get quoted that often. Like, my quotes don't end up in the public eye, because like all of my quotes are just ridiculous out of context. But some of them are ridiculous with context. It's embarrassing. It's a little bit mad. So if I get a couple of cleaners in. You should have clipped it. It's weird you don't get more money because you have prisoners with babies. Yeah, so yeah, it's quite frustrating, right? So obviously you've got the added difficulty of making sure that they've got access to their children, which is fine, but you don't really get anything out of it. So there's not really a benefit unless you just like the game to be in like slightly harder, but not a satisfying challenge mode. It's very odd. Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, I suppose. So yeah, I suppose you're trading one inconvenience for another then, because obviously making sure that there's enough accessible family rooms, I found to be quite annoying. But yeah, so if they escape less, I suppose that's the trade-off, isn't it? That makes complete sense to me. Right, it's been an hour or so, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a quick break, and I'll be back in a minute. I won't leave that running because God knows what will happen. Oh, okay, no, that's interesting. That is an interesting. I don't think I've played enough really to notice, but that is really curious. Yeah, so I'm just going to take a quick break. I will be back in like 5-10 minutes. I just need to have a wee, and yeah, I'll be right back with you. Alrighty, I'm back. Right, let's get the game back up. Let me see if I can remember how to do this. Righty ho. So, $1 million question. What was I doing? Who knows? The power's not working. The sound's not working, which is excellent. That's what we like to see. There we go. Okay. It is working, there's just no sound to be had. Okay. So that's all working again. See, what we want is we want batteries charging and we want to be selling stuff because we want enough power to last overnight and we want obviously enough power to sell, so we're making some money. So that is good juju. I'm just going to sort out the corridor lighting. That looks a little bit better. Let's have a look at flooring, concrete tiles, path. Let's get that in place. Yeah, so yeah, I imagine they probably would, to be fair. I might start a prison with some female prisoners and just play around with the mechanics a little bit and see how it's different. Because as I say, I haven't played that way in a long time because I did not enjoy it when I did. But maybe it'd be an interesting challenge. Who knows? Right, so I should probably get started on the actual prison element of my prison. So let me have a little thinky poo. So I always do cells about that size for prisoners that I don't hate. Is that going to cause me major issues? No. I don't want those buildings to be touching. I might move that over one. Because that's massive, that's insane. I can't be doing prison like cells that big, surely. It has been a minute since I played this game. Apparently that is what I do. Fantastic. That's huge. That's bigger than my room. Have I just done the same thing again? I have. Magic. Okay. Normally when I'm playing this, I'll sit and have like a podcast in the background. Quite enjoy that. So I thought it would be quite nice to stream because I'm normally zoned out listening to other people ramble, so I thought I'd give it a go. And to be fair, because it's difficult, right, when you're streaming and trying to play a game at the same time. I'm not great with my train of thought as it is, so the idea of, you know, talking and trying to concentrate at the same time is a little bit whatever, but this isn't so bad. Right. You alright?
Have you left these behind the caravan?
I left them where?
Behind the caravan?
I didn't put them behind the caravan. What, the boxes?
No one else goes behind the caravan, do they?
Sorry?
No one else goes behind the caravan.
Oh, they must have come out of the storage area.
Bottom in the shed.
Okay. We're playing Prison Architect.
I can see that.
Me and my viewers.
How many?
We've got 4 people watching so far.
Anyone trying to sell you art?
Not today, no. Which is quite nice. Yeah. Well, your prisoners started rioting. Yeah, that's not great. I have gangs turned off because I find that it's just too much for me to keep an eye on. I can't be doing with it. So that is roughly how I would do like a low security prison cell block. So you've got your prison cells. They've all got a shower and a toilet and a bed. Oh, that's my partner. He'll be in and out. He's left the door open though. So yeah, so I'll do a block of cells. They'll have a toilet and a shower and a bed and sometimes some other amenities. And then I've just put I'm gonna have a common room at the end, just so that everyone's got their own space. And then I will do the same over here, because I do like things to be nice and symmetrical. On the right of the cell block, oh, in this dead space here, I don't know, see, so the reason why I've left a gap and I haven't connected it is because prisoners are generally happier if they've got a window. So I try to, how big's that? 9. Try to leave it so that they've got a bit of, they get a higher like cell rating if they've got a window. So I do try to leave them a bit of space, so it's usually only used by like the gardeners and stuff to keep it tidy, to be honest with you. So I can close that off because that's going to be like a courtyard now, I think. Put that there. Yeah, so I'm not playing with temperature, so I won't need the heaters. Yeah, I just find that having that outdoor space keeps them a lot happier, especially for like low security prisons. Less so for the maximum security ones, because you want to keep them relatively contained indoors, but I don't tend to play with higher security blocks. That's going to be massive. I'm just trying to plan out where I'd want a canteen. I'm trying something new, and hopefully it will go somewhat to plan. Now that's really wonky, I don't like that. I don't like that at all, but it'll be massive if I do it that way. 17, 18, we go 20. That would be huge. That's absurd. I'm not doing that. Could get 2 buildings like that, and I can have a canteen. I do need the kitchen though, so I suppose that will be alright. That's huge, man. That's mahoosive. That's silly. I don't like it. Yeah, so that's where I have a bit of issues, right? Because obviously the psychologist needs access. The prisoners need access to the psychologist's office, and I don't like them being in here. So this will be purely a staff-only area. And then I'll have like a building, which will be, actually it might end up being this big blob here, which is for like common areas, and I'll probably put up a couple of offices in there, to be fair, and maybe I'll just have like a therapy building. We'll see how it goes for the moment, but yeah, so that's my layout for the minute. I'm just trying to work out what to do with a lot of this dead space. So that can be a yard area, to be fair, because that's absolutely humongous. That's silly. For like a kitchen or a like dining area, that's nuts. Yes, I do. So at the moment, we've got the security room there. Temporarily, I might do what I've done with the storage area and just have like an armory or a kennel here, so it's near the security office but not attached. And I might move it at a later date, but I'm quite happy with it at the minute. I don't need those at the moment. Let's have a look, see. So we'll do that just so I know where everything's going. So it won't be a shower room, it'll be like a common area, because they'll all have showers in their cells. I find that for lower security prisoners it's a lot easier of a regime, because you don't have to set up space for a shower slot. Yeah, they'll just shower whenever they need to, whenever they've got access to their cell, which will be most of the time. You get fewer fights in the showers as well that way. So for lower security prisoners it works quite well. Obviously for higher security prisoners it's just another place for them to stash stuff and cause problems, so it tends to be better to have like a communal shower area that they're only allowed in at certain hours. But for lower security it's not too much of a problem, I don't think. Big's that? 26 by 20. Might just do that. And that looks nice and even then. I do love a good square. Look at that. Lovely. Yeah, I've unintentionally created like a... So that's a 9. Yeah, so I'm going to leave this as like an outside courtyard area and just sort of fence it in with buildings. And then I'll have a fence here, which is a designated yard, and that should prevent them from throwing stuff over the fence. And they won't be able to escape because it will be fenced off around the outside as well. And I think that's going to work really, really well for me. I think that's going to be good. It's tickling something in my brain anyway. And then what we want is, so that's capacity for 8, 16 maths, so 32 prisoners. So that's not too bad to start off with. It's just they've got nowhere to eat and they'll starve to death. Hurrah. So yeah, I want to create obviously a canteen, but I don't want it to be absolutely humongousaurus. If I do another 26 by 26 there, and then I'm going to break it up. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. So we'd have like a canteen area. This is massive, isn't it? That's humongous. But there will be more. So what I would like to do is have like the cell blocks around the outside, and then have like the communal areas a little bit more central, because it means I don't have to travel as far. That makes sense to me. So yeah, if we have this as a canteen, we'll have more cells up above and below. And then if we count 9, possibly, but I'll work something out for that. Because we're gonna obviously you got the central bit, then you got the cell blocks, and then I will work outwards, but I will have a perimeter fence as well, which is going to be astronomically expensive and slow to build before the prisoners arrive. Otherwise they're just going to go running doolally all over the place. There's nothing more disheartening than when you think, oh, I'm finally ready to open my prison, and have them turn up and just walk straight out because you've forgotten to put a fence up or something. I don't think there is a worse feeling in this game than that moment where you realise you're really severely fucked up. That's coming from far too much experience. I've done it too many times. So if I just give that as a reference point, I think that's looking nice. And then I can have another, that's 29, I want 26 by 26 there, and I can build something around that. So I want a little shop there. Don't have much experience with that. I'm way too proud. Yeah, you'd think I would be, but it turns out that I've just got like fish for brains or something. And I get excited about an idea, and then I can be quite impulsive, as it turns out, which is, you know, good fun. Oh, I'm gonna need to build a medical room as well. Oh, what fun. So, planning wise, I want a shop front. If I do another 10 by 10 there, that's a huge corridor, and I hate it. So I'll just make that slightly larger, I guess. Got that if needs be. Where's solitary going to be? Yeah, that's another thing as well. So I'm just building like a communal block at the minute for like laundry, the shop. I want a library, which I think has to be 5 by 5. That's 6 by 6, so that's more than big enough. And a mail room as well. I hate building gyms because I find it's just a cesspool for contraband, to be quite honest with you. I find it really frustrating. What else have we got communal wise for like recreation or work? So we've got common rooms anyway. Library, laundry, shop, mail room. Lovely jubbly. And then we can have some offices in here, to be fair. That might work as something. I don't think that looks completely terrible. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with all this dead space. Maybe I'll just make it a meeting room. Yeah, it could be a chapel. I was going to do a separate one, but that might not actually be a bad shout, to be fair. That's a good use of the space. Yeah, I like that idea. Right. Let's start building some stuff before I forget what I was doing. So, I always like to build my prison blocks out of concrete because I think it's harder to dig through. It just looks nastier. But hey ho. So we'll do that. So we'll do the first 4 cell blocks there. Get those built. Walls and doors. So these are going to be large grey doors because they're low security, I feel. And we'll just let them crack on with that. I'm having a brain fart. That's 4. So why is that? Oh, they're bigger building. No, never mind, it's fine. They're bigger rooms. Of course they are. Thought I was losing my mind then. And then we'll just cut across like this. And now everywhere has power. Hurrah! Yeah, we're making decent power. What I'm gonna do though is I'm just gonna add a few more of these to the mix. Alright, thanks for joining us. And thank you for the follow. I did notice that when I came back. Really appreciate it. I stream every Wednesday, so if you want to join us again, feel free. But have a good evening. yeah, just let them crack on and build. What I will do is, do we want a grass fence? We want a nice fence, don't we? We'll put a couple of large doors here so that they can actually get in and out, because they're just going around the entire building at the minute and that's not practical. We want we can designate this as a yard because it's fully enclosed now. Right, so that's pretty much sorted. Get the walls in. So yeah, you get these different coloured walls, and what I tend to do is use those as the outside walls just to indicate, you know, what security level the cell block would be. And this is where I would normally start having remote access doors, because I've found that if I just put these in, so the way that the game works is when the prisoners wish to leave their cells, and it's an allocated time where they can do that, the game will call for a guard to come and open the door, but if the guard is not nearby, so they normally hover around reception or in the security office, it takes them an absolute age to walk all the way there, and by which point normally the time slot's changed, and the prisoners haven't been able to go out and do what they wanted to do, so they tend to get very frustrated because their needs aren't being met. So I've found that remote access doors is far easier and less labour intensive, because they'll open automatically, because there'll be a guard posted in front of a screen, and we'll just press a button and they'll just open at the exact time they need to, and I find that that tends to alleviate that frustration, which is obviously easier for me because I have less grumpy prisoners. So I tend to do that as standard practice now, because I don't play with like a specific budget in mind. So I'll get that all installed in a little while, probably after I've got the basic stuff mapped out right before we get new prisoners and stuff, because I don't want to be oh, that looks hideous. We'll worry about the logistics of that later. Yeah, I don't want to be doing it now because I'll have to keep doing it as we go. This can be a brick building because it doesn't need to be secure from digging. Put a door there, and I'll put a door down here as well, and maybe I'll put a door. Let's just have doors in all the possible entrances. That's fine. We'll have a staff double door here, and a staff double door in the corner there. So while we're waiting for that to happen, let's plan out our yard. So this will give us yard specific stuff. So, what do I normally do? I don't want searchlights, that's insane. I'll put some floodlights up there. There's no walls, so we're going to want have some nice benches around the outside. Maybe one in the middle. Exercise area in the middle, so let's do 1, 2, 1, 2. I have a couple of weights benches. Where do we want to put those? I reckon that'll do. So yeah, there's plenty to do then. So just building the canteen and the kitchen, which is slightly more complicated. So what I'm going to do while they're doing that is I'm just going to bring the pipe along for that, so that that's ready. And what we've done is we've done it across the back there. Brings us to this. So I'm going to pause it just for a second so that I can concentrate. I want that to be a wall, and I want this is going to be designated as a kitchen. This is huge. And this is going to be designated as a canteen. done that. We want fridges. There, and then we'll have like a wash station in the back. I also want sprinklers, so 1, 2, which means that we'll need water of some description, but we'll worry about that later. Let's get the canteen in place. So we need a large serving table here, and we'll have a large serving table there. I really like the diner booths, so we might go for that. So if we do that, that works for me. We'll have a water cooler there and there. Have a bin there and a recycling bin there. It's not overpacked, but I can always add like more tables if I need them. That just looks fairly neat and tidy in my brain. So that'll be quite cross at me for a bit because none of that's going to be working properly, but that's fine. So if we get that in there. And I'm not sure that the water's going to carry this far, honestly, but we'll give it a good go. Do it that way and see what happens. And hopefully you can see things are starting to come together a wee bit. Let's get some lights. see how that works out. That should be a bit better. We'll do some lights in here as well, so it'll go in the centre of every cell block. Right there. And then there-ish, I think. Looks fairly neat and tidy. Beautiful. Alright, let's get this building built. That could be another brick building because it doesn't need to be doors. I'll have a large jail door there. The staff deliveries I find interesting. I'm not entirely sure how it works because I always find that I have an excess of food compared to what's consumed, and I don't know whether it delivers exactly the right amount and I'm not giving them enough like trays or what it is, but it's really frustrating because it makes things look real messy. I'm just extending that delivery area because it needs to be done. I just realised there's no trees on this map, which is kind of insane. That's another great way to make money as well, is through the forestry department. Oh, look at that. I'm just making money. So, yeah, I'm already... So that, yeah, there's loads of different grants you can take with different sort of intentions, as it were. I'm not going to accept any of these at the moment because it will get me distracted from actually building stuff. So in terms of logistics and stuff, you can take a look and see, there's no cells, so room quality, see, so this one's got quite a low room quality because it doesn't have windows. The windows is really pulling it down. I will get some windows in these buildings, let's have a look. So you've got a couple of different kinds of windows. You've got like the cell bars, you've got nice glass windows with curtains, normal glass windows like you would have seen at school, and then wooden ones and stained glass ones. So for the prison cells, obviously I go with these cell block windows. So let's just go ahead and put those in. Get nice window in there. Large glass windows in each of the offices. That's not an office. I won't put one in the security blocks, that kind of defeats the point. I'm not going to put one there either, because who wants to see people naked? I'm going to put... it's a bit awkward. It's not quite the right size. I'm going to put a couple of small ones in there. Just so that it looks a bit nicer. And then large glass window, so I want one there and there. There. So that should improve the room score overall as well, because it has the potential to be a decent canteen. It's massive, it's actually ridiculous. That's actually way too big, but for 32 people, that's insane. Okay, so we've got some stuff going on here. So I want a jail door there. And we'll get another jail door there. These need to be staff doors, I guess. And then I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with this room yet. I haven't decided. But if I put doors, I want a nice double door there. And I'll see if it lets me do that as a chapel. This space here, because that would be ideal. Gonna demolish that wall so I know that it's supposed to be something. So this room I wanted to be a shop, so it's got nice access to outside, and I want this to be the laundry room. So if we go ahead and sort these out, so the shop is an interesting one because it has a shop front, or you can have a counter where people go in. I really like the shop front, I think it looks cool. So that's the wrong way around. So I'm going to pop it there, and it just means that people come to the window and order stuff. So that's a pretty decent shop. If we look for items for the laundry, we've got the actual laundry machines. The laundry baskets, which are a real pain in the ass because they disappear. And then you need ironing boards as well. What else did we want? A library and a mail room. So I think this will work as a library. And wherever the mail room is, is that big enough? Yes. So we'll do the mail room first because it doesn't require a lot. So it just needs a sorting desk, which needs to be the correct way around, and then it just needs tables to fit the mail on. That should be decent enough. And then library. Beautiful. so that people can sit at this table. Cool. That's a cute little library. I want this to be an office, but I want it to be a psychologist's office. So I'll leave those for now. I'll designate them as offices so I don't forget. And this last room, I'm not really sure what I want it to be yet, but... Objects for a chapel. So for a chapel you need the altar, which to be fair goes that way around. Some pews. So I always have quite a few, and then I always have a line of prayer mats at the back, so that we are covering everyone. And then see if it'll let me make this into a chapel. Yeah, perfect. And that's a good use of the space, I think. Yeah, if I can figure out which tab it's supposed to be where you affect who goes on. It's not in intake, it's not in jobs, not in needs. It might be in needs, maybe. Yeah, it might be in needs, that might be where I'm having a bit of trouble. So, objects. So, a psychologist's office works slightly differently to a normal office, so it still needs the fancy swivel chair and the filing cabinets, but it also needs somewhere for people to sit, because they'll sit and they'll talk about whatever's ailing them. So if I do something like that, we can have a big group therapy session. I'm going to put a cactus in there and a coat stand, I think. Maybe a water cooler, because that just looks cool. And then I can hire a psychologist, and then I'll know my employees' needs as well as my... There we go. So that will help me better understand my employees as well. Staff needs. There we go, there we go. So that's how I can set up the breaks policy. So at the moment it's 10%. I think we can probably have, let's move it up to 30 for now. Just so that everyone's getting their breaks and no one's getting pissed off, because they're all really cross at the moment. I can also hold off on building anything and give them some time to cool off before we do any more work, which I think I'm going to do. Because the happier they are, the better they work. So it's obviously beneficial to keep them happy. So he's not pissed off. He is though. But yeah, it should start to sort itself out in a bit. There's a big need for food and a high need for recreation as well. So if we go into objects and we go into staff room, let's have a look and see what we can do to alleviate some of that need. So if I dismantle some of their seating area, which sounds silly, but bear with me. I can put a foosball table down and they'll be a lot happier, because it'll give them something to do on their downtime. And that should fulfill some of the recreation need that's been building. Yeah, see, it's going down now. Yeah, that's starting to sort itself out now. So that'll mellow out now that they've got something to do on their break. I can also add an arcade machine, I think. It makes a horrific noise. But if they're desperate for something to do, I may as well give it to them. What's that? Oh, it's a drinks machine right next to the toilet. Beautiful. Yeah, you can hear it. Probably just about. Let's sort this out. Try that. And what I can do here is scroll to the bottom of this tab, go to the sell objects, and just sell anything that we can to just make some money back. Sometimes you end up with excess crap that you're storing. How are my staff doing? Much happier, which is good juju. We want staff to be happy. Right. Now we're going to start designating cells. And that's a common room. Wherever that is, there we go. Let's have a look, see. Common room there. Common room there. Perfect. Okay. Let's see. Right, so we've got that in. Or have I forgotten to put a bed there? Anywhere else? No. And then a shower head. So utilities wise, we're going to need to drag that way, drag that way, drag that way, drag that way. And what I was saying about being careful about where you put your big pipe is the two topmost cells up here will be able to dig out pretty easily because they've got completely unfeathered access. Which is not really what you want. Prisoners do have a certain amount of need for privacy as well, so having their own private like toilet and wash area does help with that need for privacy because they're not getting naked in front of everybody. Perfect. And then food distribution. Yeah, that's not classed as a cell block yet. So, doors. Dismantle that. We want a big TV. Yes, we do. And then we want a little sofa. We'll have table tennis. And for all intents and purposes, to be fair, we've got, you know, a fully functioning prison now. Why does it say 31, not 32? Most interesting. So what to do? I hate when it gets dark, because it makes it really difficult to, literally impossible to see anything. Right, so we've got a foreman. Why don't we have any gardeners? Let's get that sorted. Everything's getting really overgrown, making it really hard to see. Sort that out. What other sort of necessary rooms do I need? I definitely need a medical room. And I need a training room, so I might split these off now. So those will be cell blocks as well. 5 seems like a good number, and then that's going to be an unnecessarily large morgue there, and then I want some classrooms really, so I might take that space and turn that into something. Hopefully you guys are seeing my vision. Yeah, see that pop-up is not what I need to hear right now. That's real depressing. Classrooms. Ooh, I hate that. Okay. It's 11 by 11 and 11 by 11 again. Ew. Okay, so we're making the building smaller. I think I might add a bigger gap rather than trying to get that to fit in. So 11 by 11 there. 2, 11 by 11 there, and then I'll just cut it off there because that'll look better. I'll have a couple classrooms in here. My chat's real glitchy today. It just wants to scroll up for some reason. Now I think with the cloning tool I can clone everything. Which is decent. Doors. That's going to take a really long time because that's going to back up a lot of the delivery and stuff, so just sit and watch that happen for a bit. Let's have a look at the utilities and see if we can preempt some problems here. Nope, that seems to be fine. That's actually perfect. If I just bring that across a wee bit more. And then that one's going to go fully across that way. Because the only thing it doesn't copy and paste is the utilities, which is fine by me. I am chill with that. So we get these. That's a problem. So this large utility pipe's going to have to be readjusted. I'll probably bring it out that way. It can't be going through like that. I'm still alive, yeah. I thought you were gone. Was the last you were back? Yeah, I'm still going for a little bit. I normally stop around about 9:30, so I've still got a wee bit of time left. A wee bit of time. I'm just expanding. Got some bits and pieces built. I'm just waiting for it to all, because it's a big backlog of stuff, to be fair. Look at it all. To be fair, actually, like next level thinking, because I have real problems with dead space, and for some reason I have to create corridors everywhere, and that just makes sense. It's a really good use of the space, and it's actually the perfect size chapel. It's satisfied my need for symmetry quite nicely. It's very neat and tidy, so give yourself a pat on the back for that. It's very nice. It looks pretty damn good. I've hired some gardeners because everything's getting a wee bit overgrown, so I'm hoping that they don't get too overwhelmed and overworked and are able to crack on. I've designated all the cells and started furnishing them. They're just building them now because I've used the clone tool because I got lazy. Because there's no need for any real variation here. I might change out the table tennis to like foosball for some of the common rooms, but it's not really that important. I've got a medical wing that I'm going to have. There's room to expand that if needs be, and then this is going to be like the classroom area. Stop telling me to add a death row. I'm not adding a death row. What I was going to do is designate this all for deliveries so that it's not completely full. I haven't got anything to export anyway. So yeah, I'm just waiting for things to build, because as I said, sometimes you get delusions of grandeur and you decide that you're going to build a whole load of crap at once, and that's where the regarding the grants, I haven't done any. I've done 2 so far. I'm still in Green Machine. Purchase and install a wind turbine. Bitch, I did that. Have I got to have all of them in one go? Have I made a grave error in my ways? Let me just sort that out. So we'll have a little wind turbine there and a solar panel there, and it can all be nicely attached there when the time comes. Yes, so regarding grants, I'm kind of stuck on the green one, so I can only pick one. So I suppose basic detention centre would have to be the way to go, and I can just designate one of the cells as a shower room, and that'll tick off that box for the shower room, and it'll all be quite happy. Is that done that now? Right, in progress. I think does it have to be active for a certain amount of time, or is that not installed yet? I see. I see. The extra grant thing, I think bureaucracy is already unlocked. So everything that I can unlock is unlocked because I've just started with everything, because ain't nobody got time for that. I'm quite happy to slow the process down, but not too much. I don't know what I need to do to get that extra, because I know you can get 3 at a time. I might need an accountant or a lawyer in order to actually make that work, but it's fine. We shall worry about that later. We're in a positive cash flow. That's where I usually try to stay, because eventually you make your money back, in theory. Yeah, like I said, I think it's I'm either missing. Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's finance report. Extra grant. Yeah, so I need an accountant, which I don't have. I can always get one. Let's go for that. I'll give him a nice swivel chair and a filing cabinet. And wait for that to be populated. Lovely jubbly. So that should be that grant done now, right? Yay! I'll probably do that one, which I've already done. So that one I'm about to complete anyway, so I will take that. Staff, accountant. There we go. That one's done. I'm working on that one at the minute. Yeah, so yeah, I just needed the accountant. That was all I needed. Go for the short-term investment as well. Get those out of the way. I'm just waiting for my medical ward to be built, and then I only need to add words are hard. I only need to hire the 2 doctors, and then that will give me the grant money, and then I'll just fire one of the doctors because I don't need to. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And I can dismantle those now. I don't need those. Apparently, the danger level is high because staff morale is low. I need to change this. I'm going to put it to like 50%, which sounds insane, but I think it'll make them a lot happier. You don't need to meet the requirements for the cleaning cupboard, so you still have janitors and prisons. Okay, fair. Yeah, no, I just I usually utilize the cleaning cupboard purely for rooms that I don't have like space to assign. Normally I give them to like really awkward shaped rooms that I can't put stuff in, like this room here. I would just make that a cleaning cupboard until I decided to do something else with it. That makes sense, because as you say, it's quite a versatile little room. Watch them go in and out, in and out, in and out. Look at them using the toilet. Lovely. Hi, Steve. Have you been here the whole time, or have you just jumped back and seen the prison that we've birthed? Because it's getting there. I'll be honest with you. It's definitely getting there. Oh, okay. Wicked. Because yeah, it'd be quite a lot to come back to be fair. I'm quite pleased with my progress so far, actually, because we've been sat here for what, maths, 2 hours, give or take, and yeah, we're doing all right. Not too shabby. And that's 9:30, so I'm just gonna let some of this build a little bit, and then that'll probably be it from me for this evening. 2 hours and 30 minutes. Goodness me. Yeah, maths was not ever my strength skill set, to be fair. I try, but yeah, I don't tend to succeed. But yeah, that's what we've got done so far. I think when I'm streaming on my own, I know normally I stream with you know, Sam, Louise and Becca. Becca doesn't have any Wi-Fi at the moment because she's bought a house like a grown-up and they haven't installed it yet. Louise is busy today. Sam wasn't available. So yeah, it's just been me. So when I'm doing solo and stuff, I think I'll play a bit more Prison Architect because I've really enjoyed this and I hope you guys have too. This has been quite chill. That's what I needed this evening. Just a nice chill day. I am going to fix these fence gates though because they're hideous. I'm glad you've enjoyed it, Steve. Yeah, because the thing is, it's like I said, it's a nice easy game to play and talk through at the same time, but I do worry that my rambling gets a bit boring. But if you've enjoyed it, then that works for me. Look at the state of all this. What a mess. My storage room is full, my delivery area is full. But yeah, I'm just letting them sort of sort themselves out. You can see, so I'm playing the game on like 4 times speed, or on the fastest setting, whatever that may be. And you can see they're walking really slow, so they're all really tired. I've set it up to like 50%. A maximum of 50% could be on a break at any given time. So I was kind of hoping that they would take that break, but they're not that smart. I could hire some more workers, but I'm not going to. It would be nice if instead of just like sacking them and following them, you could like force them to take a break. Because I do think that relying on their own intelligence is not particularly helpful. Oh, he's hungry, so eat something. That's the cure for that. Oh, or don't, that works too. There's plenty of food. But yeah, I think that's it from me this evening. I really appreciate you guys joining me. I'm glad you've had fun, Jodie. And is it, how do I refer to you? Beer Brower? Beer? Let me know. Good night, Jodie. Yeah, I'll see you all definitely next Wednesday. Maybe sooner. It depends on how the week goes and how the moment takes me. But yeah, cheers, Steve. Really appreciate you guys hanging out. It's been good fun. And I'll it's all good. Beer brewer in Dutch. Oh, fair, yeah, because I thought it sounded a little bit Germanic. So I wasn't too far off. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate the follow. That was very nice of you. And yeah, like I said, I'm here every Wednesday. Sometimes I stream a little bit extra, depends on, like I said, how the mood takes me and what me and my friends are up to at the same time. But yeah, cheers guys, and I'll just save this quickly before I forget. What's the date today? The 3rd. I always save it with the date so that I can see. As you can see, I have issues. But yeah. Bye guys. Cheers.